Hello and good morning. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first auditorium of Big Festival 2022. It's a Saturday morning. We're still getting up. We're still warming up our engines. My name is Guilherme Diaz, and I will be the host for the next few hours. It's a pleasure to be here with you for the third day of the Big Festival. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you're in São Paulo, there is still enough time to join us in person. We'll be here until 10 p.m. Tomorrow, we'll be here from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And we have 3 rooms and, of course, the show floor where you can see all the booths. And you can see our schedule at bigfestival.com.br. If you haven't joined us and you're in São Paulo, please do visit. Also, on our website, we have an open vote for you to choose your favorite game. We have great, innovative games, and we're going to mention some of them in the next panel. We're also on TikTok. Wow, this is new. So we're also on TikTok, Twitch, and Canal 500 from Claro. So let's hear about our first panel. We are in the Big Awards and Big Preview lineup. And let me tell you what this panel is going to be. Last night, we had the Big Awards in this room. It's our award ceremony with 21 categories, awarding the best indie games in the world. We had a category for the best Brazilian game. If you'd like to applaud, that would be great. Thank you. So, best Brazilian game, and today we're going to be talking about Brazilian games. There were 11 finalists running for that award, and we will hear from the developers of all of them. They're here with us. Let's give them a hand. Wonderful. And we have representatives from the finalists as well, and also the winning game. They will personally show you these projects. They're the best indie games in Brazil, and they show the commercial potential that the gaming industry has. If you're a part of this movement, if you'd like to ask them any questions, you can go to ask.bigfestival.gg to send us your questions. If it's a good one, if it's a smart and creative question, they might answer later. The best questions will be selected, and for the developers coming up on the stage, you will have 5 minutes. There's a timer on the screen, and feel free to tell us about your project, your name, your studio. It's your time, and then when you're done, I'll invite the next speaker. All right, so without further ado, I'd like to invite to the stage Bruno Klippel.
Alô, alô. Beleza? Bom, acho que podemos começar então.
Okay, I think we can begin. Hi everyone, my name is Bruno Klippel. I am the CTO of Wondernaut Studio. Thank you for being here and for watching this presentation. Today I'm going to be talking about Wondernaut, and I'm going to tell you about our project, Aspire in a Stale.
Aí.
There we go.
A gente tem uma filosofia.
So Our philosophy at Wondernaut is to always base ourselves in our pillars for the company and for our projects,
para a gente conseguir ter certo foco.
in order to be focused and so that everyone is on the same page on what we're attempting to do.
Principalmente os pilares da empresa, que nós acreditamos
So our pillars is, one of our pillars is that we believe in fantastical stories. That's very important for us. We believe that games can show us new worlds and it can allow us to explore new worlds. And
belas estéticas.
we always try to have great aesthetics, great narratives, and soul.
Que a gente sempre tenta
I think that's something that we always try to imbue in our games.
Ih, agora passou dois. Só um pouquinho. Aí. Essa é uma frase que
This is a statement that represents what we do. We're dreamers.
jogos pra gente
Gaming for us is not only about selling a product, it's a dream. We always have enjoyed games, and
quando a gente começou a empresa,
when we started the company, this has always been our motto, which is to dream and show our dreams to others and hope that they'll join us in these dreams.
a empresa começou em 2020,
The company was founded in 2020.
o estúdio começou em 2020.
Our studio was founded in 2020. And we brought in people who wanted to dream together and make games. This picture here shows several people who are still in the studio and some people who have passed and helped us build our story.
Vocês vão ver que tem o Chris,
At the back, you'll see Chris. He is sort of sneaking into the picture, but he is one of our big friends. And everyone else in the picture has helped us to write our story, and they still are.
E agora eu vou falar um pouco do Aspire.
Now, let me tell you a bit about Aspire.
A gente está muito feliz.
This is a game that we're very happy to put out and to be nominated for. It was incredible. We started developing it when the studio was founded. It was launched in December 17th, 2021 for PC, Switch, and Xbox. Now we have a partnership with other companies to port it to PlayStation and mobile.
Aspire, ele é jogo side-scrolling 2D.
And it's a 2D side-scrolling game about a mystical, fantastical adventure in a tower that has different rooms
São místicas, são fantasias.
that are mystical, that are full of fantasy and
Podem parecer desconexas, mas
might seem disconnected, but that makes sense within that tower. So Ina is trapped in there.
por ser uma sonhadora.
She was put there because she is a dreamer, and her dreams
O sonho serviu como quase como alimento.
Ina's dream are basically nourishment or serve as the basis for what the tower is doing.
Percorrer a
And Ina needs to explore the tower and find her own path. She needs to solve puzzles in order to achieve freedom.
o problema é que quanto mais a Ina
The problem is that the closer she is to her goal, to freedom, the more she finds out that that's not as simple and that it will have consequences, and she loses her innocence along the way.
uma coisa que a gente tentou buscar
So something we tried to do with Aspire was to move away from that idea of having a princess that needs to be rescued. In this case, a prince tried to rescue Ina and was unable to. He failed. So what happens now? What happens in Aspire is the story of Ina trying to be saved, but not being saved by anyone else, and then needing to find out that she can be much stronger than she had imagined before.
Pela presença de todos.
So thank you for being here. Thank you for letting us be on stage to show our game, our company, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Valeu, Bruno. É isso aí, pessoal. Esse foi Aspire Inas.
That's great. That was Aspire Ina's Stale from Wondernaut Studio. Now I'd like to invite to the stage Enrique Alonso Caprino from Pocket Trap. He's going to tell us about his game.
Deixa eu ver aqui como é que faz. Qual botão que passa? Tem muitos botões aqui.
Too many buttons. How do I click? Is it the big green one?
Muito bom dia, pessoal.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here, for watching these presentations. I think all the games we're seeing here are incredible. With each festival, we see the bar being raised, and for us, it's a great pleasure, and we're very proud to be a part of it, so thank you. Now, let me tell you a bit about Dodgeball.
O Dodgeball ele é uma criação.
Dodgeball was created in a partnership between Pocket Trap, Ivan Freire, who is right there, who is an incredible guy, by the way.
O Ivan ele vinha
Ivan
trabalhar com games, mas ele
worked in gaming as well, but he is from the animation world, and Dodgeball was started as a partnership between Pocket Trap and him. We wanted to create a universe that connected to what we like, nostalgia, school, dodgeball. So I think it was a very successful partnership, and it was published by Humble Games last year.
como eu acho que algumas pessoas
So
vêm de desenvolvimento, eu tô
since people at the festival are from the development world, I brought some old screenshots from Dodgeball so you can see like some backstage images. So this was one of the first concept images for Dodgeball. You can see the old logo there, and it sort of establishes the mood for the game, or what we were imagining for it, which was about bringing back our school experience, our childhood, with several sorts of characters. Cubes, balloons, all sorts of characters.
e nesse universo de queimada, né?
And in this universe of Dodgeball. So
Primeiros slides
this was one of the first slides that we made about Dodgeball, and I think it's interesting to show.
incorporou a ideia
It shows how we sold the idea for this project, how we pitched it. So we had these pillars. Our main pitch was Dodgeball is an RPG sport game set in a school. So you can expect a narrative and action, because that's also one of the essences, one of the mottos of Pocket Trap, which is action games. So the basic pitch was it's like Hogwarts, but for Dodgeball. So this was the slide we used to show it.
screenshots, né, do
So here are some screenshots of how it looks. The game has an exploration part with quests and so on.
de queimada, que é mais como fazer fighting game.
And then you go into Dodgeball, which is sort of like a fighting game inspired by Super Dodgeball, an old arcade game that Ivan also really liked. And we used it as the source of our inspiration. So here's some screenshots of the battles. Whoops. I'll show you a trailer if you haven't seen it before, so you can see how it looks.
Our home, our way of life, begins with the hero's dodgeball. Thrown with such force that it remains eternally spinning, generating the energy that propels our entire school. It is a remnant of the great dodgeball wars, a dark time for us all. With but a single touch, the hero's dodgeball has the ability to unlock the ultimate power within you. We have protected the legacy of this treasure through the ages. And now it is your turn. Become the legend. Become the hero of Dodgeball Academia.
Isso aí. Valeu. Então vamos lá.
Well, let me go forward here because I have a short time and I want to get through some other stuff. So we try to make this game which is globally appealing, but at the same time, we try to focus on the Brazilian identity. So you have the woman at the cafeteria and, you know, things that are, back in my days, we only ate junk in the cafeteria, you know, just savory snacks, all kinds of junk food. And I think that this is something that really made us happy, which is to see the way that the Brazilian public embraced that game and the way that they related to it, and the dialogues and, you know, the WhatsApp, which we love, and all the nonsense that we do over here. And it's really to be in line with the public. And one thing that I would like to mention as well is that we have a language learner mode, which Lorenzo, who is our programmer, he's not here right now, but he's a spectacular human being, and he created that, and folks loved it. Since you have a lot of work since it's a lot of work to localize a game like that, and, you know, since it takes a lot of investment, we were like, man, we already have the text, so let's try and make an overlay to where, because the reality is we were brought up on English games and Japanese games, so maybe someone can learn Portuguese while playing dodgeball. These are some of the characters. Just wanted to show you that real quick. Unfortunately, I cannot go into the detail over here. I'll have to skip the trailer as well. You can check it out later. And just some thank you messages. You know, you see some artwork here, and that's it from me, folks. Thanks a lot, but yeah, we're here if you want to talk to us. Thank you, congrats, everybody. Kudos.
Valeu, Henrique.
Thank you, Enrique. Now, I will call to the stage from the Monster Studio.
Shogun Cyber Metal Arenas. E a Catarine.
I have Catherine Novak de Almeida. Come to the stage, please.
Caramba, isso nunca aconteceu comigo.
Wow, this has never happened before. Thanks. Thanks for all the clapping. Feeling quite special up here.
Bom, vamos lá, né, gente? Monster
Let's get into it. Monster Studio,
estúdio é estilo de
which is more than a studio, actually. It's a lifestyle for us. It's the Monster lifestyle.
Bom, antes de falar aqui do God Machine,
Well, before I get into God Machine, I want to tell you a little bit about our studio, because like I said, it's really a lifestyle to us. It's really grandiose. Monster Studio is a cross-media studio. So besides working with games and entertainment overall,
a gente também trabalha com
what we do is we work with a lot of other stuff, like comics. We also do miniature sculptures, and one of which is actually right here. I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's a beauty that I have, like it's like my daughter, really.
E bom, a gente está bem focado assim nessa parte de
And we're really focused on this aspect of creation, which is really our thing. As you can see, we have more of a style that we like to say that it's heavy metal.
é o que a gente quer mostrar para o pessoal.
This is what we try to convey to the public, and we try to reach out to people that have that same style, that are into the same stuff, and that have the same blood running through their veins. So that's Monster. By the way, taking this opportunity, I have a little sculpture up here, and we are going to raffle it. I mean, we're going to do a draw, and if you want it, let us know. You can talk to us, and we are going to draw this beauty over here later on.
Bom, agora falando um pouquinho sobre o God Machine.
Now, a little bit about God Machine, which is really what is interesting about the presentation. This is Genshi's image. This is our main character. This is our samurai robot.
Nas arenas, né?
And he fights in the arenas for God Machine. So basically, the story of the game is that Kanshi does those sacrifices, right?
Vários clãs, né? Vários
So during the war, you have a lot of clans and a lot of characters that step into the arenas and they die for God Machine. And in this way, they try to sort of achieve this symbiosis with it. That's the idea behind it. So Kanshi is out there
pra acabar com o pessoal.
and he wants to kick ass and he wants to really participate in those sacrifices. But what happens is that, there's something weird happening to it. He has some bugs, some things that are a little crazy in his system. So that's where you develop the lore of the game, and you're going to have to play it to see how this thing unfolds.
Bom, aqui a gente tem alguns concepts
Well, and right here we have some concepts, and as you can see, our references are quite clear.
da Ásia, né? A gente fez
We draw a lot from Asia.
com as
There's a lot of references from there.
antiga, né? Dos samurais, bem
We're really inspired by that classic ancient samurai look, and that meets sort of a cyberpunk, look.
E o legal do jogo é isso, né?
And that's what's cool about the game.
A gente pega referências
Like I said, we draw from a lot of Asian references, and a lot of times people associate that to Japan.
referências de
But in reality, we get references from different Asian countries like India, Indonesia,
parte do jogo. Então também tem isso.
and that's in the combat of the game as well. So in our game design, what we do is we develop the enemies, and we think about martial arts from different countries, and that's what's really cool about the game.
Aqui a gente também tem alguns dos clãs que eu
Over here, these are some of the clans that I talked to you about.
tem mutantes, tem
We have mutants, we have robots, we have survivors. So it's a whole universe in and of itself. And that universe exists in the game. And like I said, it's also present in our other projects.
a arena, que é elemento super importante.
The arena is a crucial element that is ever present in the game. And it also works as a character in its own right, because it's roguelike. So whenever you play, it's a different style. It's a different look to it. It's a different feel. You have different traps in the arena, and those are always different, shaped differently. So depending on the boss that you are playing,
As da arena para tornar
your boss is going to use the traps of the arena to, to try and make it more difficult to you.
os props, né?
These are some of the props.
E aí, no geral, o God Machine
And in general, that's what God Machine is all about.
essa ação ininterrupta.
God Machine is this non-stop action. You're always trying to fight your enemies, kill the robots, and you're trying to find out what consciousness is. A robot trying to achieve consciousness. And that's it for me, folks. Thanks a lot.
Maravilha. Esse foi God Machine Shogun. Shogun, é assim que pronuncia? Shogun,
Shogun, God Machine.
sabe, Arenas. Agora,
Okay, so right now, folks,
uma dúzia de painéis aqui.
I think I've presented maybe a dozen panels here. This one, it's actually my favorite.
O estúdio Munana.
We were going to hear from Munana Studio with the Keylocker game,
Conseguiram chegar a tempo.
but unfortunately, the owners couldn't make it in time. So I just want to ask for a round of applause for these folks from Munana.
E por conta disso a gente segue para o próximo.
And moving on to the next one.
Estúdio Petit Fabrique.
Now from the Petit Fabrique studio. Is that how it sounds? Very French sounding. I'm going to call Humberto Rodriguez to the stage to talk about his game.
Alô, alô. Bom dia, pessoal.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So cool to be here, so cool to be back to in-person events. And it's great to see that you have the best games coming out of Brazil, and it's so cool to be a part of it. My name is Humberto Rodrigues. I am the director of Cuco's Lost Pets from Petit Fabrique, and I'm going to show you the game.
Ser o campeão do Pet Day, mas quando eles decidem usar tiaras de controle mental nos seus animais para vencer o campeonato, tudo começa a dar errado. Um curto-circuito enlouquece os pets, que se rebelam e tiranizam os cucos. Agora o jogador deve viajar em uma missão através dos mundos da árvore cuco para libertar seus amigos, resgatar os pets e descobrir o real motivo da rebelião, trazendo assim a paz de volta para o mundo dos cucos. Em Lost Pets, o jogador encontrará personagens inesperados, puzzles, chefões, desafios de agilidade e piadas, e será desafiado a atravessar mundos totalmente distintos, que o forçarão a reaprender a jogar constantemente. Lost Pets se concentra em distorcer fundamentos bem estabelecidos no gênero de plataforma 3D, como, por exemplo, tirar do jogador a habilidade de pular, o que na verdade o deixará mais ágil e móvel. Com o tempo, Cuco e Pet se tornam um, e o jogador um mestre de suas habilidades. Jogando sozinho ou com amigos em multiplayer, descobrir o que está por trás da rebelião dos pets é o grande desafio de Cuco's Lost Pets.
Vamos que o tempo é curto.
I have a short time. Gotta move on. Thank you, folks. So, Cuco's. Cuco's is a 3D platform game. To where the heart of the game is having a collaboration between Cuco and its pet. And what is a Cuco?
Eu apertei, será que vai passar? Passou. Existe esse planeta totalmente coberto de água com uma ilha.
There's this planet that is completely covered in water with a minuscule island with a gigantic tree on it. And in this tree, you have infinite doors that'll take you to any types of world you want to create. So that's the home of the Cucos. So during the game, we're going to meet, interact, and play with different Cucos and their pets.
E a proposta principal de mecânica para o
And the main mechanics for the Cuco Lost Pets is to take this 3D platformer style game, which is very well known, and we want to give our own little twist on it. And we do that by creating some limitations and some differences between the pets. So we're going to explore places, but in the dark. We are going to scale up vertical levels, but without being able to jump. We're going to fire at our enemies, but with stuff that we have to grab in the air. And we have to lose our bodies to see the invisible, and that creates some consequences in the game. All of those mechanics happen through a layering of 4 main commands. So basically, we have those basic commands, and they change according to your pet.
algumas ações contextuais dos levels.
And according to some contextual aspects of the layers. So you create sort of an intimacy with your pet because you go through adventures together, and this relationship happens through the content. So you feel that you're doing better, you feel that you're taking better care of your pet at each level. And we go through a lot of biomes in the game, and there are 4 main ones. You have Ancient Civilization.
Passa, por favor. O Apocalíptico.
We have Apocalypse Coach.
A Guerra Mundial dos Unicórnios.
We have the World Unicorn War.
São fofos pra caramba.
They are armed to the teeth and they're cute as hell. And we also have a haunted pizza parlor.
Pelos levels a gente vai conhecendo.
So in the different levels, we meet and we face different pets that are brainwashed.
E a gente tem que resgatar eles.
And we have to rescue those pets. So we never actually kill the pets. What we do is we turn them back into the good guys. And they are being led by bosses, which are those creatures here, those gigantic beings that we don't know why they invaded and control the worlds. They are also making use of the tiaras to control the pets, and we have to learn the relationship between the pets and the tiaras and and those rebellions to understand what is happening. As you have it in any platform, there are a lot of collectibles, so you can unlock more content as you go, and Cucos is all about that. This is a family-friendly game. You can play as a multiplayer, up to 4 players, and it is also accessible, but it's going to challenge a lot of the older fans of the platform. So thank you so much. That's it. That's Kuko's Lost Pets.
Kuko's Lost Pets.
That was Kuko's Lost Pets. Wonderful. Thank you. Now I'm going to call from the studio Glitch Factory, Pedro Machado, that is going to introduce his game for us. Round of applause for Pedro.
Bom dia, bom dia.
Good morning. First of all, I want to say thanks. First of all, I just wanted to say thanks. Thanks for all the organization, everyone that is working hard to make this event happen. Wonderful. Looks great. And also the developers that made all those incredible projects. We see improvements each year. Where do I point this clicker here? You don't have to point anywhere, right? Just click it away.
Ok. Ah, tá colocando.
Oh, they're putting up the presentation. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about No Place for Bravery, which is a game we are launching now for PC and Switch on September 22nd, and we've been developing it for a while.
Valeu, gente, valeu.
Thanks, guys.
A gente tem retorninho, velho, que coisa incrível.
I got a video feed in front of me. This is incredible. So this is an RPG, an action RPG, and it's so crazy because this is a game that it's really action heavy, it's fast paced, it's violent, but it does have some elements which is Souls-like. I mean, we don't even call it that because there's a lot of cheaters in that genre, but there's a very clear difficulty, and the idea is to get some tears out of our players from time to time. And this is a game that is very much narrative focused. It tells the story of Thorn, who is a retired soldier, and he lost his daughter many years ago. So he finds some clues as to where she is now, and he goes out and searches for her. It's sort of a post-apocalyptic world, and the narrative is really important for us in this game, and more specifically for this project, because it deals with topics and themes that are very important for the team. So we get into, toxic relationships, we get into toxic masculinity, and the storyline is based on real facts. Not that someone from Glitch went out on a post-apocalyptic world looking for his daughter, but it is inspired on real relationships, especially from our partners. And so that's the life and soul of the project. So it's been under development since 2016. It's going to get a driver's license real soon. It's going to be able to vote. That's how old it is. So we wanted to put together an RPG that was more demonetized. Demonetization of RPG was our first core concept, and the game went through a lot of iterations, and it has been many things throughout those 6-7 years.
Foi uma jornada muito louca.
And, you know, it's been a crazy journey till we got here.
Muitos desenhos, muitos concepts.
A lot of designs, a lot of concepts. Boy, I think I have like 200 or 300 pages just like, you know, sketches and designs. There's a lot of stuff.
Eu já falei isso, né? Vai voltar.
Well, I said this before, but we're going to launch on September 22nd, so we have some time still. And I think that's it. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot.
Valeu, Pedro. Só tem jogo bom aqui hoje, né? Meu Deus, essa listinha cheia.
We have a full list of games to test now. All right, everyone. The next game was going to be a production from Rogue Snail Studio, but are they here? Are you here? No way. All right, so let's invite them to the stage. Talbone, who's going to tell us about Relic Hunters Rebels, excuse me.
Oi. Bom dia, pessoal. Prazer, eu sou a Talbone. Sou parte...
Hi, my name is Talbone. I am from Rogue Snail Studio.
Fui parte do... Eu sou artista e...
I'm an artist and designer. I worked in the Relic Hunters Rebels team. Let me see if my slides will come up. There I am, looking pretty as always. All right, so I am in the Relic Hunters Rebels team. I did the art, the design, and some of the narrative, and I'm going to tell you about how it was developed, where it came from, and basically how it was created, its goal, and so on.
Bom, Relic Hunters...
Well, Relic Hunters Rebels is... If you don't know it, Relic Hunters is a franchise. You have Relic Hunters 0, which came out some time ago, and Rebels is its spiritual successor. Sort of.
A ideia do Relic Hunters Rebels é...
The idea behind Relic Hunters Rebels is having the same experience of a Relic Hunters 0 on your smartphone, because it was originally launched in Steam. It was a free open source game that was very successful in the community, and they had asked us to bring it to a cell phone app. And we did that, but it came with a twist, which was adding a Pokemon-like mechanic, but with game weapons. So each weapon has an element. The stages are also elemental, and if you go into a specific element, you should bring in a weapon that has the power over that element to be super effective. So, as I mentioned, Rebels is a successor for 0, but Relic Hunters is not only 0, it's a huge franchise. We currently have Rebels, 0, 0 Remix for the Nintendo Switch, and we also have a comic book that narrates the origin story for the Relic Hunters team. We have the Relic Hunters Legend game that is being developed in a partnership with Gearbox to be launched for PC and consoles. So it's an entire universe, and this is the timeline where Rebels is. It's also a prequel for Relic Hunters Legend that will come out soon. We'll see. So, the original plan for Relic Hunters Rebels was to bring the Relic Hunters experience to a mobile game. But to do it without going hungry, we needed a business plan. And the original plan was to do this. The basic game was going to be free to play. You could download it off of Google Play. It would have microtransactions or ads. So there are some mechanics that are very common in free-to-play games, and we would also include it. So, for example, if you die and if you want to be revived once, you would need to watch an ad. But there was also a premium mode where you could buy the paid version so that you wouldn't need to worry about ads and microtransactions. But then a fortunate thing happened along the way. Which was
Ah, aqui.
Oh, here it is.
Desculpa, gente. Aconteceu uma coisa
Sorry.
muito boa também.
So, a fortunate thing happened along the way. Netflix came to us, and we had to change our plans not only because we wanted to do them better, but because Netflix wanted to help us to reach a wider audience. So, we went from free to play between quotes. When Netflix publishes game, you need to have a subscription, but their user base is huge. In Brazil, it's even bigger because it's cultural to share passwords and so on. And with the support of Netflix, the premium mode is now used for everyone, so we no longer have microtransactions and ads. Since Netflix likes narratives, since they do TV shows and so on, we had a greater focus on the narrative and their support. So Mother Netflix came to help. Now, something that's important in Rebels is representation. At Rogue Snail, we have a very diverse team by nature. We are very broad in the different gender identities, in the different race identities, and even geographic locations. We're very diverse. We work from home, so we have a degree of freedom, and that also makes for a better game. We don't have only men, but we also have trans and non-binary characters from several ethnicities. So, for example, one of the biggest protagonists is Barohu, which is a non-binary character. It was very well received. We got some feedback from people who don't like gender-neutral pronouns, but everyone else enjoyed it very much. So that's it. I had left a slide for questions, but I'm out of time, so thank you.
Foi Relic Hunters Rebels. Obrigado, Talboni. Agora.
That was Relic Hunters Rebels. And let's continue with the next one with two people on stage. Is that right? From the Bravarda studio. Leo Ramos and Nicolas Paes Leme, who's going to tell us about Sky Caliber.
Que parada.
Que parada.
What a trip. This is crazy. I'm happy to be here. It's great to see these amazing, absurd games. This is surreal. I am Ian Ramos. I'm Nicholas, and we're representing Studio Bravada. So we have everyone here watching and some people with us in person as well. This is Sky Caravan, our first game from Studio Bravada. We want to create indie games with a Brazilian flavor, and this is our first commercial launch, and it's full of Brazilianness, weird things. So what is Sky Caravan? It's a text-based RPG because we decided to create a game which was actually a 1,000-word book. So it's basically a narrative adventure full of different paths where you go with your crew in a caravan through a trip inspired by several strange things. So a world inspired or a city inspired by Rio de Janeiro to a Lovecraftian / Faria Lima factory, a center filled of casinos on top of mushrooms full of weird people. So they have a lot of weird references, but you're always guided by your relationship with your characters as you travel around this world. Exactly. The game is filled with decisions. It's text-based, and characters talk to you, so you often have 3, 2, or even a single decision that you have to make. You work for a crew of greedy capybaras who want to exploit you, ask you to deliver some weird spirits to strange clients, but you can pet the capybaras. But you need to have the right level of affinity with them. Some players have found out how to do it. Yes, so we always try to include some Brazilian factors in the game. So you use a 14 Beast plane to travel, and you can see one of the worlds which is inspired by Rio de Janeiro. Of course, you need to relax at some point, so you can buy some things for your spaceship at the Capi Bar. buying from your own bosses, which is a little bit weird. And we really like Rent, which is that game where you swipe left or right. We really liked it, and that was our starting point. What if we did something similar to Rent, but with a lot of narrative depth? So with every choice, you're changing something about your ship or your affinity to the characters. So if your pilot is irritated, that might not be a good idea because he's your pilot. You don't want to crash your ship, right? And this is Bartô, the cook. He is a anteater inspired by Jacan, the chef. So he's stressed out, he's super grumpy, but he has a heart of gold. And no one has gotten, or nearly no one has gotten an achievement on Steam to have some affinity with them. And nobody really wants them to hate them. But he is a cook, and he's the most experienced character in the crew. And we have Jackie, who is a great engineer who can fix everything. She plays pool professionally, but she's just starting her life as a caravanist. So are you going to agree with her ideas, or are you going to follow the most experienced? You choose, and that changes your relationship with the characters. And Kleber is basically Agostinho Carrara from TV. He is our inspiration, and he's the pilot who's always giving you a bad idea that might work out. And if it works, you might get some money, because at the end of the day, what do you need to do in the game? You have a shark who is asking you for a lot of money. So you're not just delivering. You need to get money, but then you have a problem with your ship, and then you lose it. So how do you get the money together to make your crew happy, keep yourself alive, and take your family from the surface to the sky? Yes, well, one of the biggest villains in Brazil is a wasp, of course. So we're trying to give it a Brazilian flavor. Cloud World is waiting for you. And all we need to do is to thank Biggie and all of our fellow nominees. Thank you.
Fantástico. Obrigado, Ian. Obrigado, Nicolas.
That's great. Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Nicolas.
Nosso próximo jogo
And the next game is from One Begin Studio, and they're going to be telling us about Orube Game Studio. Hi, good morning, everyone. I see a lot of talent in this crowd. People from the university I also was trained in. Well, my name is Pedro Savino. I founded Orube Game Studio in 2017. I started a game by myself, and now we have 7 people working for us. And we created Super Mambo Quest, a game with our company mascot. There you see our logo with Mambo. And let me tell you about Super Mambo Quest and what it became. Mambo is a character that has starred in several of our games, and Super Mambo Quest is probably his 10th game, but the first one created by a number of people, a number of talents, that became this beautiful thing that we're very proud of. Super Mambo Quest is a precision platform game, and we launched it for mobile, PC, and console. So Xbox and Switch. And the main mechanic in the game, to go into the different scenes, the game is split into several rooms, and you have to defeat all of your enemies without letting this bar go down. And then you can have a Mambo combo. With that, you get money, and you can progress in the game. And there are other micro goals to do in a stage: collect crystals, collect coins, and also the game is cute. You see Mambo there, but it's a Metroidvania game. It is huge, an interconnected world with over 240 levels. It was a lot of work. To have 240 levels in the game, we probably created over 400 levels. So it's huge, and it's a lot of fun. It allows you to unlock different shapes to reach areas you would not be able to reach. Your gameplay changes how you interact with your enemies. You can buy upgrades and things of the sort. So it's a very fun Metroidvania.
Passou? Será que eu acho que eu passei 2, mas vamos lá.
I think I skipped a slide, but it's okay.
Então, o Super Mambo Quest foi
So
sucesso.
Mambo Quest was very successful here in Brazil. We have had over 500,000 downloads in Google Play alone. So that number of Brazilians liking what we did, our rating is 4.7 in Google Play. We have 100% of positive assessments in Steam. We actually dropped down to 99%, but we're still very happy about it. And we received an award at SB Games a little bit before the game came out in 2020. And we've had very good repercussions in the community. And speaking of our community, during the development stage, which was around 2 years long, plus 6 months for a pre-launch, we created our community. We started working on social media, and now we're almost at 700,000 followers on TikTok, 7,000 members in Discord. We have many followers on YouTube. In Discord, our kids, because we target the teenage audience, so they helped us correct the games, they gave us suggestions. In the credits, you'll see a huge list of handles of people who helped us, and they helped us boost the game. That's why we have this many number of downloads. So we have our representative there, and Super Mambo Quest is a franchise that will not stop here. We have a project where we're going to launch on Catarse a crowdsourcing page for our board game that adapts our digital game into a board game. It looks beautiful. We have several prototypes. We're sending it out to YouTubers. If you'd like to hear about what's happening, just follow us on social media. And that's all. My name is Pedro Savino, and this is Orube. If you'd like to follow us, our handle is Orube Game Studio. Congratulations, everyone.
Valeu, Pedro.
Thank you, Pedro. So now I'd like to invite to the stage Digital Synapses Studio. Guilherme Lorenzo is going to tell us about Tower Mancer.
Opa, bom dia. Eu falo pouco do Tower Mancer.
Good morning. I'm going to tell you about Tower Mancer, but before that, I'm going to give you a word on our studio. So Digital Synapses is a 5-person company, so we can speak everyone's name. Pedro, Gabriela, Nayara, and Felipe. We launched Tower Mancer last year, in the beginning of last year in Steam, and it was a huge surprise to get nominated because we see how great the games are, and it's the first PC game we've put out. And it's at the same level of some very interesting games that we heard about here. But let's do this. Tower Mancer is a very simple game. It's a tower building game. The game is going to give you the size. So it seems like a simple goal, but the challenges I'll tell you about soon. Many people think that we're building towers, so we must be a tower defense game, but it's not a traditional tower defense game. You don't have a path. It doesn't follow that same pattern. It's more of a strategy game, real-time strategy game. So you have your characters, your imps, the little green characters you see there, and they're going to work for you. They'll take resources and take them to different rooms, help you build a tower, and fight any threats that come up. And I'll tell you about them soon. This is basically what the game is. You have the basic resources, wood and stone, which you use to create the basic rooms. And then you learn about different rooms. You have a kitchen, a forge, a prison, a lot of things that you need to meet your goals. And let me tell you a bit about the story. It's very important for us because the game is based on the legend of the Leech family. In the beginning of the family, you only had Leech and Leechmancer, and they had many children. So each of them has a job, and one of them is the Tower Mancer you're going to control. Each one is a specialist at what they do. So whenever you find a sibling, they're going to help you with something. So for example, in the beginning of the game, you'll see Forgemancer who will teach you to build a forge, get iron to build the next rooms, and so on and so forth. The entire challenge is based on that because you start seeing that something is wrong in the game. You start losing control of your father, Leech disappears, and why are people attacking? That's not normal to have so many threats on your tower.
Esses são seus irmãos.
And these are your siblings. So as I said, you had the Geomancer who handles the prisons, the Forgemancer, and several other siblings you'll see throughout the story. These are the rooms. So we have all sorts of different rooms, and each one of them needs different resources to be built. And after that, you can do several things with them. So for example, one of them builds traps, because some of the threats can come from the ground, and you can set a trap to stop them. These are some examples of the threats that may appear. So there's a barrel that destroys 2 rooms. If you're able to stop the first barrel, it will become a phantom barrel that will still attack your tower. So each one of them does something different, and you need to defend against them differently. The game has a number of levels and different paths. It's not an easy game, but if you can upgrade yourself, you'll get resources to fight these threats. So it's nice to understand that it's not only about building a tower, but you also need to survive for some time, have a number of resources. So there are several challenges in Towermancer. And what did we plan for Towermancer? We recently launched an update which was a big request from our public, which was the thief. In the beginning of the game, the thief was a threat that would go in and steal all of your resources, and you couldn't do anything about it. It would steal your resources, and that's it. And people would say, but I just spent 5 hours getting 5 pieces of wood, and the thief stole all of it. So now you can send an imp to fight the thief and throw him out. So it's one concern fewer, although you have an imp doing that. And we're about to launch an update that will create shields. So you'll be able to shield each room or each side of the room or a floor, and it will defend you against a few threats. There are several updates. Each sibling will teach you how to improve your shields. Some of them will repair your rooms. Some of them will defend you against more than one threat. And it's very helpful in your journey.
Want to say thank you for the invite. Thanks on behalf of my team. All the other games that are here are so cool. And thank you so much once again.
Valeu, Guilherme.
Thank you, Guilherme. That was Towermancer. So now, our 11th participant. It's going fast, right? Thought it was going to be longer. Unfortunately, it's a short time, 5 minutes. I could listen to all these guys for half an hour without any complaints. So our last participant is from Ota Ayman. Is that how you pronounce it? Ota Ayman. So I'm going to call Otavio to talk about his game here.
Eu sou Otto Aymon, do estúdio Otto Aymon.
My name is Otto Aymon from Otto Aymon. Not an asshole, but the studio does have my name. I'm all right, you can talk to me. But in any way, we were nominated to 6 categories yesterday. We didn't win a single one, and we were really sad about it. And I said, well, tomorrow I'm going to make a presentation and compare our game with Noodles. And they told me that's why you don't win anything. Yeah, I'm just trying to embarrass myself up here. So Wolf's Stride, you can see that, that joke with the noodles, but it was made in 7 years. We started in 2016, and we went through a hard time. My brother wouldn't buy me some bread, and I was giving him a hard time because he wouldn't buy a Hellmann's mayonnaise for me, and a lot of that went into the game, believe it or not. So I'll do a comparison here of the game with some noodles, some instant noodles. So the instant noodles of our game is the robot battles, the giant robot battles, because without the actual noodles, it would be just hot water without any flavor. So that's the battles, that's how they work. What you have is you have your action points and you have your movement points. So you move around with this board here at the bottom, so that's like your pilot, and that's your enemy. And when you are in range, you're able to attack your enemy. So it's quite basic. For those that have played RPG and strategy games, it's pretty much straightforward. So you pick your skills here. You can see the distance from your enemy. I'm actually getting an anxiety attack just from looking at it. But anyway, so we have those animations that happen all throughout the game, and you can equip your character, and the idea is that you partake into a mecha contest, and it looks like trash. It's like a old raggedy car, and you have to face up to a Ferrari at the end of the day. And then you have your skills, and right here this would be the water of the noodles, which is the shameless mini games, which are much more simple, but it really sustains the loop of the game. So you have those shameless mini games where you have to bathe a cat, you have to ride a bicycle, you have to dig a hole, that kind of stuff. And then you earn money to invest in your actual car. So you see that word here, tempero, which it's really about the complex narrative of our characters. A lot of people think we got the references from Gone the Ragon and things like that, but in reality, it's really a lot of Korean stuff that we were inspired by to make the game. Cowboy Bebop comes to mind.
Aqui a gente tem nosso pixel art, então é um hangar onde você pode consertar.
You see the pixelated images here. You can fix your robot, and then the last bit of the noodles is the frizz on it. So you do your, fried egg, and you throw on top of it, and you make it a little bit more special. So we have sort of an exorcism in a mecha game, and we curse out so much that by the time we were launching the game, people were actually scared of just how many curse words we had in the game. So it's bad jokes, it's like a game made by a drunk, which is me.
E aqui, então, a gente tem isso daqui é o.
So that's the game. That's the game, what you see here. These are some screenshots that represent the game. And at the end, as you can see, you have a nice gourmet noodle meal for yourself.
Positivo no Steam. A gente tem 92% de aprovação.
We're very positive on Steam, 92% approval. But this guy here, this is close to the chest, man. You see the reverse like button here. Anyway, folks, that's it from me.
Valeu, Otávio. Facilmente o melhor painel que eu participei no Big.
That's the best panel ever.
Gente, eu sei que ontem teve.
Well, folks, I know that we had the big awards yesterday, but the awards haven't finished yet. We still have one category, and we're going to reveal that tomorrow in the last day. I'm talking about the popular vote. Early in the presentation, you can see at the website there is an area where the public can vote in their favorite game in the festival. And for those of you that are watching at home via streaming or the internet, and for those of you that are in person watching here, everyone can vote on your favorite game. And all the games that are here are eligible to get some votes and get the 3,000 real prize.
Nata do Big dos Jogos Brasileiros.
Like we said here, we have 11 finalists, and they are all awesome. But if you are a developer and if your game hasn't made the cut, you can always try again. And so right here, we are concluding our panel, and we'll be back shortly after a short break. Have a great third day, folks. See you soon.